I want you to know exactly where your safe location is in Fayette County as this baby's coming, okay? Hopefully on a much weakened note, but they're moving so darn fast, you don't have time to make any other preparations, with the exception to get down into your safe location, have that WA&D weather app ready to go, okay? Maybe you're watching us on the WA&D Now app. We are live streaming there as well, where you could continue to hear us. Maybe you can't see us. The Wi-Fi's a little shaky, but at least, even if the power's still on, the TV's on, crank up the volume. Maybe you got to head down into your basement. Whatever it is, it's going to be your safe location. Hopefully, we'll get this thing to update here momentarily. But still showing that triangle for the tornado debris signature right there. And that is the Greenville area. Hasn't updated yet, so we'll come back to that in just a little bit. Show you what it looks like on our software. And again, that's going to be that, well, actually, yeah, because this has updated as opposed to the analyst site. So now your rotation is away from the Greenville, but again, you're going to be just north of Interstate 70 right there, headed more toward Mulberry Grove or just off to the north. So that is your tornado warning polygon. I'd be very, very concerned. There's Illinois 140 right there. That is a rough, tough setup, quite honestly. And wouldn't even rule out some rotation south of Interstate 70 and US 40, as this looks like it's a pretty significant event, some of the worst that we've seen over Illinois thus far this evening. Farther off to the north, we continue with that rotation, but we're coming up on 11:15, or did they cancel that one, Phil? Looks like they did.
Yeah, so at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and give Springfield, Jacksonville, Carlinville, Litchfield. Arguably, if you're on the western side of Logan County, you're in the all clear. So essentially, if you're within the warnings, obviously you're still going to have a little bit of a problem here. I do want to point out we do have a map pulled up here. Let's go ahead and take that. This is going to be an outage map across the state of Illinois. If we could highlight a couple counties, especially, let's go to the green one there. That's going to be Cass County, a little bit to the north there. Yep, right there. We're looking at, it says county track 7,049, so county out 597. So definitely some power outages there. There's going to be Mason County just outside of our area. But nonetheless, we're just starting to see some of these power outages occur across the area. As I was talking a little bit earlier, I want to show quite a bit of live coverage as we can as far as some of our cameras go. And so we're going to go to this quad view here. And just a little bit ago, as I was mentioning to Jim, it looked like there was a lightning strike. Jim, you said that was. You were kind of getting a better look there. That was a lightning strike. Okay. So this is going to be your top left that we're talking about right now. This is where some of that lightning strike may have occurred. But then we start to get over here, not getting a whole lot of lightning here for Devon Lakeshore Amphitheater. This is Bloomington. Lots of rainfall up there. Obviously some strong winds. This camera's not very high, and it is shaking like crazy. These winds upwards about 70 miles per hour in many cases across the area. So that's what we're looking at. I'm going to continue to keep tabs on all these cameras, see if we can't get any those lightning shows that we've been talking about potentially occurring. But as of right now, we'll switch over to satellite radar, and I can tell you right now, if I turn on lightning indicators, it's going to light up and pretty much take over quite a bit of this. Well, in this case, it's showing one at a time. It's going to take a little bit to load if we continue at that pace. I would beg to say if this were to load a lot quicker, it would not show just a couple. It would be widespread across the area, especially with the lightning show that we've gotten here. And you can just continue to see each one of these things slowly starting to load in. But let's go ahead and jump back down to that tornado warning that is down to the south, down towards I-70, unless you want to take a quick look at something else, Joe.
No, absolutely. That's the big game in town, at least as far as what we're dealing with in the rotation department. And again, we'll get a look at that other software, the GR Analyst, to confirm if we have anything still left in that area. That still has not updated. That's unfortunate. So we'll flip back here and we'll continue to maybe refresh it or see what we could do on that. Then we'll check out any reports of damage coming in just a little bit. I quickly saw one in Tazewell County off to the north for some wind damage, but nonetheless, there's Greenville, and you can see that the storm has already moved on. This is Interstate 70 with the US 40 paralleling that, and the rotation that we're now seeing is more off to the kind of like right along the I-70 corridor, and you're starting to get right here. This is the line for Fayette County. So here's the top flank of the tornado polygon, and this is Fayette County right here. So you're just about coming on into Fayette County right now, just off to the north of Illinois 140, which it cuts underneath. If you're familiar with that part of Illinois, cuts underneath the interstate, just to the northwest of Seminary. We're still west of Vandalia, but this is it, where that green area is sandwiched in between the surrounding red. This is your rotation, so it's away from Greenville right now, but earlier, boy, that rotation came up with a debris signature in the Greenville area. Certainly don't want any part of that, as something was tossed up aloft, and Doppler radar was picking that up. We don't know what it is. It's under the cover of darkness. Hopefully we could get the confirmation coming in soon. If you're living in that area, keep in mind, always WANDTV.com/send it, so we could share it with everyone else. So now that Doppler radar has updated, we can now see that the rotating storm system is within Fayette County. And this warning, and correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, but that goes until 11:45 if I'm correct. That's going to continue to parallel that I-70 corridor, 11:30, excuse me. So the bottom of the hour, another 21 minutes from now. But guess what? These storms continue to move off to the east. Not that we're tracking a long track tornado, okay? But this is the same feature that's been producing numerous spin-ups all the way from its birth, very close to Springfield, Missouri. And now it's in Fayette County, approaching Vandalia. So you need to be in your safe location here, because you have Effingham County coming up after that. The warning polygon only goes right up into the border right now for Effingham County, and that's where the Lincoln National Weather Service office will be able to take over tracking this storm system. But as you look farther off to the south, yeah, that just looks like junk to me. So, I mean, if I'm doing this, I'm tightening up this polygon to right here instead of having it go all the way over the panhandle of the Fayette County corridor, okay? I think this is an I-70 corridor and points northbound big time. I'm even looking at some rotation farther off to the north in Ramsey, and they're not even in that polygon. This is ridiculous how things are popping up. That's what I don't like seeing. You get that one little pixel embedded within a sea of green, and a lot of times that's where, and maybe not, and I'm hoping not, fingers crossed, but you get a quick tornado down that's on the ground for like 50 yards, that's what it looks like. Doesn't last long. It's in for one scan of Doppler radar, and then it's done, because it's on the ground for like 30 seconds, and that's it. Most tornadoes are only on the ground for a couple minutes. It's these long trackers. And again, not that we've seen the track all the way from Springfield, Missouri into Fayette County. Same storm system, though, that has produced multiple drop downs. And when I say drop down, you're going from the cloud deck down to the ground. That rotating motion, the funnel cloud, works its way all the way down to the ground. So we're going to come back to that on the next scan, and hopefully that goes away. And hopefully this one just continues to unravel coming across Fayette County. Well, hey, okay, so here we go now. And this one until midnight, excuse me. Allergy season already. That's crazy. But what I was talking about, that one pixel, Yeah, that's coming off to the northeast right now. So brand new tornado warning until midnight. I'm going to toss it over to my colleague Phil. This is going to be for Central Shelby County in terms of what we're dealing with in terms of the movement. But I would imagine it's headed northeast, Phil.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. And it's important to note that, well, this is the latest one, and obviously for our area, that really tight couple there, and it's still a lightning show going on over my right shoulder right now. We do have a photo to show here in a second, but I do want to talk about this a little bit more. This is going to be for only Shelby County. It does cut off right there at Moultrie, but includes Shelbyville and includes Cowden. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here, just to get quite a few more communities included in this. But we're still looking at, Clarksburg, you got Williamsburg Hill, Tower Hill, you got Mode, you got Strasburg, Windsor. This is all going to continue to roll to the northeast here, 50 miles per hour. Obviously, as of right now, I'm not seeing anything that's going to be considered on the ground or a confirmed tornado. This is radar indicated, but nonetheless, that doesn't matter. You act as if it is on the ground already. So, new tornado warning for Shelbyville goes to the top of the hour here. So, we're looking at about midnight itself. Would include Cowden and Shelbyville. Again, I do want to show that couplet that we just saw. A little tough to see, but you got it right down here. Again, you're going to have that darker red with that darker green there. In green, obviously, is going to go towards, in this case, since we're looking at Shelbyville, we're now on National Weather Service, Central Illinois. If I were to pop down to Vandalia area, we would be looking at National Weather Service, St. Louis. So we're going to be jumping back and forth here. And I do want to zoom out just a little bit, because we do have these two tornado warnings. One, you got a little bit more taking a turn to the northeast, eventually off towards Moultrie County. Not saying Moultrie County is going to see a tornado warning as of right now, but it's a pretty strong couplet there. And because of that, they did decide to go ahead and issue a tornado warning there. If you're down towards Vandalia, this is another interesting one that we are going to see. This thing, as Jim mentioned a few moments ago, has been tracking, providing quite a bit of rotation since all the way back towards Springfield, Missouri. Not even our state capital, Springfield, Missouri. So across the river and across another state in our neighboring state. And they're already talking about how this storm alone maybe doesn't rotate its entire lifespan. Look at that lightning there. But it doesn't extend or rotate its entire lifespan. Maybe it doesn't, but it's still going to be a threat through Effingham County and until we see this thing out in towards Indiana. Maybe then it's still a threat. There's enough fuel in the atmosphere to allow for these. Good news is right now in Central Illinois, we have not seen an actual confirmation of a tornado, which in a lot of ways may be great, but in a lot of ways may not necessarily be the best news because it's under the darkness, so you're not going to get those reports until later on if it is confirmed. But as of right now, we do have two tornado warnings. This one goes until 11:30, if I remember correctly, and that one goes until midnight. Let me double check my math here. So again, 11:30 for the one towards Fayette County, and then we got the one there, goes until midnight. Plus, you just saw that pop up, new severe thunderstorm warning. I bet this is going to be moving northeast, 60 miles per hour, 70 mile per hour winds from Mattoon, Charleston. You got Cumberland County there, then all the way down towards Effingham. Again, 12:15. So now we're getting into your Saturday morning with a lot of these. Anything that gets issued from this point moving forward, your best bet is going to end going into your Saturday. We're still sitting here at 11:16 here on your Friday evening. Tough to believe, but we do have a long night ahead of us with all these warnings and all these storms that continue to push through. We don't like to see it. I can promise you I do not like listening to my own voice. I do not necessarily want to sit here and have to tell you that these warnings are in place. But this is what we're here to do, is to provide the information for you. So if you're tired of hearing my voice, I'm sorry, but we do have these two tornado warnings, one for Shelby County, one towards Fayette County. These are going to be, I want to say long-tracking storms, but not necessarily long-tracking tornadoes, if that makes sense. And at this point in time, they're both radar indicated, Jim. So the hope is that with the next couple updates that these things are gone and we don't have to talk about the tornadic activity anymore.
All right. Let's, you know what I want to do? I want to be a nerd right now, and I want to go to that analyst software to check out the two separate rotations. And I'm hoping this thing updated, unless there's a glitch in the software program, then we'll quickly come back to that, because this guy looks intense. We called that even before the warning was out, moving away from northwestern Fayette on and through Shelby County. So hopefully you had plenty of time to get into your safe location. This one's zoomed in. What do we?
This is going to be the one for Fayette County. This is the one that was
Okay.
pushing past Greenville.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get that. Okay, so it has updated. So we don't have that tornado debris signature anymore, which is good. Even if we scan over to, I don't know what that is, but even if we could scan over to Fayette County, west of Vandalia, see what that looks like, Phil? Yeah. Okay, all right. But hey, notice this in between, or just off to the east of Pleasant Mound, south of Mulberry Grove. Notice where we have, just to the right there, Phil,
Yeah, there.
that red in the sea of green. Yeah, that's what you don't like to see, because in the whole broad rotation, you get those little spin-ups, and that is what I don't like. So that's why this warning is out. It is a tornado warning, and yeah, I mean, that's going to be running south of Interstate 70 now. So earlier, you know, it was all north, headed away from Greenville, northwest of Vandalia. Now you got this little spin up farther off to the south of US 40 even. This is just a wild setup. So you definitely want to keep tabs on that one. Now over to the one that's headed into Shelby County here. Yeah, there you go right there. Notice how once you get southeast of Oconee, you're going from that green to red to green to red. Oh, baby. Don't like that at all. Pop up that triangle, Phil. Hopefully that's not a debris signature.
No, it doesn't
Okay,
look
it's
like
not. So good right there. Oh, my goodness. We didn't need more of that stuff because, you know, no reports just yet coming in from the Greenville area as to whether or not there's confirmation. But you're south of Pana. And actually, just off to the south of Oconee, where we do have some of that action, and I believe that is US 51 that is running up through Pana and Oconee from Ramsey. So, yeah, that's a tough corridor right there. So, it now just updated, so awesome. Let's click on that triangle again, see if anything else came. It didn't, so great news right there. But now you can see it's all off to the east of US 51. So the strongest rotation is right there, southeast of Oconee, southwest of Lakewood. Pana, you got some rotation in there as well. So not going to rule that out. But everything running off to the northeast, this includes the Lake Shelbyville, Finley, Windsor area, Tower Hill. Boy, yeah, got a lot of viewers just around that Tower Hill area. You guys are in this polygon, so heads up. A couple areas of rotation, the biggest one just off to the southwest of Lakewood, but also in around Pana, headed toward that Tower Hill corridor, and also once you get farther down to the south, and that's going to be in that Fayette County area. So a lot going on here. Meteorologist Anthony Peoples has joined the parade as well. That we'll continue to keep tabs on any damage reports coming in from the National Weather Service in just a little bit. But this is going to be that Shelby County area. So there's Cowden, Illinois 128, Herrick right there, getting really, really hit hard right now. Got some viewers that also email me in Herrick, so definitely want you in your safe location, okay? Toronto, time's a wasting here. That warning's running up until midnight tonight. And again, that's going to include portions of Effingham and Shelby County. So
that is a new tornado warning there as well.
I was just going to say that, Phil, because you know what? We were looking at these two, and now it's 1, 2, 3 tornado warnings that we do have in place right now. And you may ask yourself, why? This guy right here. So you're seeing numerous pockets of rotation now. You got the one that's approaching Cowden. You got the other one that's east of St. Elmo, and you have the other stuff that's not too far away from Vandalia. But I want you, and that one was it's a broad rotation, but one of those little spin-ups was south of Interstate 70. Yeah, so right down here. So rotation here and here. So there could be multiple spots. And I'm not saying they're all tornadoes. To have that many on the ground at one time, extremely rare event. Likely not. But you have to ask yourself, which one is it? So we got a picture in, and do you know where this one is from, Phil?
Yeah, this is going to be from Mount Zion. Let's go ahead and take that lightning strike photo there. We've been seeing a lightning show here in Decatur, essentially for the past I would say 30 minutes to an hour at this point in time. And now that's a look down towards Mount Zion, exactly what it was. Obviously, this was not taken during the day. All this brightness, I guess you would say, is obviously coming from that lightning strike there, which we have seen multiple times. So pretty cool photo coming in from there. Again, Jim just mentioned a little bit ago, but if you do have some photos, hopefully you weren't outside for it. But you could always go to WANETV.com/send it. It's still got a lightning show going over my right shoulder here, but over my left shoulder, we got some updated opportunities with these warnings. So let's go ahead and take this full screen. And what we're going to look at is where the break in these warnings are. So if you're in Fort Iroquois County, you are still under a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 12:30. Now, again, those are the two counties that are out of National Weather Service, Chicago. We start to move further south. Well, take a look at this. This is something that we haven't seen in quite some time, since all the way back in Missouri. There's no warning in that area. Great news to see there. That means these storms are at least weakening, or at least in some way, shape, or form, not meeting severe weather criteria, whether that's because of hail or winds. Now, is that to say that these storms won't pick up more? Not necessarily. But what we have noticed is, you see out ahead of here towards the Champaign County area, these individual thunderstorms and even widespread rain chances will continue to see the opportunity to weaken some of these thunderstorms. The problem that we have is the further south you go, you're not getting that. And so that's why these warnings further to the north, Champaign County, northern Macon County, Pike County, haven't continued. So I really do think the rest of this evening, you're still going to get strong winds if you're along I-72 and northbound, no doubt. And I'm not saying Champaign or Pike County that you're in the clear. I don't believe that for a second for the time being. We will wait and see. You're not in the clear if you're in Decatur. You're not in the clear if you're in Christian County. You're certainly not in the clear if you're in Shelby County, Effingham County, or Fayette County, where we have our 3 remaining tornado warnings that are all fairly new. It is 11:24, and I do want to point out that this warning down towards Vandalia does expire at 11:30, so we got another about 6 minutes. The question is, do they continue that? Do they extend that time? Because I have a tough time believing where that rotation just was, that in 6 minutes it's going to be in Effingham County. So I would have to imagine 11:30, Jim, that they're going to have to make a decision to continue that, or at least extend the time. Because I just don't see it jumping 30 plus miles. Because let's be honest, from Vandalia to Effingham, you're driving 80 miles per hour, 75, whatever the case is. It takes you 30 minutes to get from one to the other. I don't see it moving that quickly, because it's moving at 50 to 60 miles per hour.
I agree with you, Phil. and again, we saw that quick little pixelization there, but yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of storms bottled up here. We call it training. It's much like a train. It's a boxcar after boxcar after boxcar. So you're seeing a lot of storms training here. That's lending toward heavy pockets of rain. Now, eventually, it's going to get to a scenario where the atmosphere is stabilized by the evaporative cooling power of the rain. But yeah, we still saw some rotation in through this area. And again, as I mentioned before, these purple shaded areas, that's where you're likely dealing with hail. So obviously there's an intense storm right there. The question mark is whether or not that we're going to continue to have rotation with that coming up in the next 5 minutes from now. But for the time being, all bets are off. I mean, it certainly looks, and we'll take a look at it under velocity, see if it's still the same. But up first and foremost, keep in mind, moving away from Oconee, now sandwiched in between Shelbyville and County. That was the new update right there. This is your couplet right here. And that still looks dangerously intense. I don't like it. And that's headed right into Shelbyville, away from Cowden, Windsor, Sullivan. Sullivan, not quite. You get that Bethany-Sullivan corridor. Not in. And there's some trailer parks in this area. It's under the cover of darkness. You got to have a safe spot. Whether it's a friend that you could go to, have them pick you up. That one's headed off to the northeast. Hoping it misses. Hopefully it misses, but boy, don't like the looks of that at all. Down into Effingham County. I gotta be honest with you, that one doesn't look like much of anything now with the update. but we're continuing it, and this is across the board because you're going from Effingham into Fayette County, and yeah, I mean, I don't foresee this being canceled in 3 minutes from now. Now, it may drop out, and it'll take a minute or two for a new one to be issued, but I'm not seeing that just yet. And this is going to be crossing on into Effingham County pretty darn soon. So, likely not an issue. And if you could drag that one just north a little bit there, Phil, so we could see a little bit more of southern portions of Fayette County southward.
Sorry.
Severe thunderstorm warning for them now.
So Anthony tells me severe thunderstorm warning now has replaced this tornado warning. And what time is that running up until, Anthony?
12:15.
Until 12:15. So again, you do have that broad rotation, but again, a brand new warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll continue to keep tabs on that for you, but ooh, well, I tell you what, definitely some rotation in there. It is away from Vandalia. So what you have in terms of heavy rain, Vandalia continues, and its areas farther off to the east, more towards St. Elmo.
Towards
I never
Brownstown.
like this look, because again, you get these little notches, okay? I don't like the looks of that, quite honestly. So even though they change this to a severe thunderstorm warning, I don't know, sometimes you get those quick little spin-ups, and very, very cautious of that. We saw it happening just coming on into Shelby County as well. That storm system continues to march off to the northeast. So again, we continue with 2 tornado warnings at this hour.
Yeah, and it's important to note that this one for Vandalia area, I guess it's past Vandalia at this point in time, but for St. Elmo, even Brownstown and Pruitt, that's going to go for about another 40 seconds here. So I would have to say that maybe they just trim this thing. But we're really getting close. I mean, whenever we start to look at this, and I'm just going to draw some measurements here. So we look from here to here, we're talking 6 miles of this thing moving. So maybe we get into 11:30 hour, this thing has jumped quite a bit. Maybe it picked up some pace, but maybe we don't see a continuation or extension there for Fayette County. And they just let National Weather Service out of Lincoln take over for Effingham County. That might be likely here because we should be getting an update here in about another 15 seconds here. So sorry to interrupt, Jim. I just wanted to mention that that's most likely going to happen is they're just going to kind of let this thing expire knowing that in about another 2 minutes or so it should be out there.
Right, and we'll definitely keep tabs on that. So very close to St. Elmo. And there it goes. It drops off for the time being. That severe thunderstorm warning still in play. Tornado warning butting up against the other tornado warning. And correct me on our times here, guys. This one's until the top of the hour, and this is until 12:15, or both until midnight.
Yeah, so the one down to the south for Effingham goes
Midnight
until
right
midnight.
here, so you can
and
see
I think Shelbyville
Effingham,
was
Southern
midnight
Shelby.
as well.
So all until midnight. Tough to hear. We got a lot of rain going on here at our studio. Thunder and lightning as well. But both of these warnings, with the storms marching off to the east-northeast at a rapid pace, minimum, we are talking about some wind gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour, so a rough, tough go of it. Not to take anything away from what's happening out across Macon County, because it is raining fairly intense right now, but notice that you don't see any notch inflow or anything. You're basically going from straight line here. So incoming wind, outgoing wind. So what's happening with this? Storm system's moving away, and that's about it. Back to the west. Has there been anything, guys, in terms of cancellation for any of these counties back to along and west of Interstate 55 for the time being from the Weather Service?
As far as, are you talking about the tornado watch itself or?
Tornado watch itself, yes.
Yeah,
It's been shaved away.
Yeah, it's been slowly shaving away as we look at this right now. Obviously, we have 3 tornado warnings there in the red. That's going to be coming from phone. So Macon, Pike County, new tornado warning. This would include Decatur itself. So if you're up in the studio, I'm going to ask every single one of you guys to go ahead and go into your safe spot right now. I need every single one that's up in the booth. That includes anyone sitting down at the audio board or director. I need you to go find the storm shelter right now. Please get out of your seat and head to the storm shelter. That's going to be the makeup room for you guys or one of the bathrooms. Please go ahead and do that. If you're in Macon County, I need you in your safe spot immediately. This is going to continue to be for that rotation. I thought I saw a little bit of a couplet there as well. Hopefully this is just radar indicated, but this is going to be the latest coming in for National Weather Service. Anthony,
This
do
is
you
it
have
right here now.
Yeah, the latest on this tornado warning that includes eastern Macon County and west central Piatt County. This is moving very quickly from around Mount Zion and Decatur off to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So located right near Mount Zion and Decatur until midnight, this tornado warning.
Right, so what we were looking at earlier, it was just
Hang on,
one.
hang on, hang on.
Yes,
I need
no.
everyone that is in the booth, I need you to go into the storm shelter now. Immediately. I don't want anyone sitting on the computer up there. I need you in the storm shelter now. And if you're at home and you're hearing my voice and you're in Decatur or Macon County, do the same exact thing.
Right, so here we go. Earlier, and it was just the previous scan where this was running due south, okay? Green, red. Now, here's your notch inflow right there. So here you're headed toward Lincoln and away. This wasn't there on the last scan, so obviously, yeah, that looks intense, to be honest with you. We're in South Shores on the southern part of Decatur, so we're more located here as opposed to here. Doesn't look like it's a concern, at least as far as tornadic activity is, at least for North Decatur, but farther to the south, yeah, you betcha. Now that couplet will continue farther off to the north-northeast. Anthony mentioned, was it 55 miles per hour, Anthony?
It's moving off to the northeast at 50.
50 miles per hour. So again, that's going to be crossing US 36, Illinois 105 here. So 36 runs down toward Mount Zion, if you're familiar with that area. And yeah, a rough, tough go of it right there with that little bit of notch. Quite honestly, given that the steering flow, you can see how the polygon is shaped right there. It seems a little too large to have areas on the north and west side of Decatur into that, but we're going to see what plays out with that the next scan right here, because definitely an intense feature. They're talking about it then around the Mount Zion area, and that's going to be right down here, headed off, maybe more toward areas just off to the west of Cerro Gordo in this type of a steering flow. So very, very interesting to see what's going to happen on that next update as to what, and there it is right there. So again, in terms of this stuff right here, this is the show right now. So
Right over Mount Zion.
there's
at this
your
point in time.
inflow, and on the backside of the storm system, that couplet right there. So farther off to the southwest, which was Macon, part of the tornado warning? I don't think so. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still tremendous amount of lightning in some of these storms, and it's pouring in Macon, but the damage that could be associated with the possible